Hello, my name is Dr. Stephenson and I will be your instructor for this semester. Welcome to Chemistry 1412, General Chemistry 2. By the way, we may want to start by thanking Angelina for this course because there are only 4 people in this 1412 course this semester. And so it's a money loser for the college, but they wanted to make sure that I think some of you might need this course to graduate, that you get to graduate on time, and for the other ones of you to make sure that you don't fall behind. So with that, let's all give it our best effort to have a great semester. Now, I don't need to mention that chemistry is an inherently difficult subject and happens to be hard, especially at the STEM level. I mean, this isn't a news flash. You've taken and passed General Chemistry 1, and I doubt it was just a little walk in the park. But you put in some hard work, apparently, and you survived it, and you passed it, and here you are in Gen Chem 2. Now, before I move into the mechanics of the course itself, I would like to say how rewarding a STEM degree is. Mine, of course, is in chemistry, and I was in industry for over 20 years, and it was a great career. Money was pretty good. Projects were great, and it afforded me things such as traveling all over the world on special projects and meeting some very interesting and dynamic people. All of that was because I hung in there and got a degree, a STEM degree in a valuable subject, and the performance of that degree was high enough so that somebody actually wanted to hire me. And that's what I want for each of you. I want you to not only pass your STEM classes, but I want you to learn the content so that you too are going to be able to land one of those jobs. Now, as you know, everyone can't do them, and herein lies the rub, as you probably know. STEM tends to be difficult. That's why there's not that terribly many people in it compared to, say, a lot of the other majors that people can choose. So with that, but that's your lot, and I think you're making a wise decision in it. I would just remind you that in between where you are now and that lucrative or fun or fulfilling career is a lot of hard work. And one of those bits of hard work will be this course. Okay, so not to scare you off, but that's kind of how it is, but I don't think that's a news flash again to anyone here. Okay, so what I want to do now is to introduce you to the course and 2 main components of it. And let me see if I can pull those up. Let me go to my spreadsheet here. I mean to my web page here. Okay. What you want to pay particular attention to is the website itself, which I'm going to call the Blackboard site. This is our course Blackboard site, Chemistry 1412, in nice red letters. Let me put it on student view. There we go. So this is, without this yellow banner, this is what you should see. Almost everything you need to be successful is here, or the second thing I wanted to mention, the second key resource is an external web page. I built a DrStephensonChemistry.com, and I have detailed an enormous number of resources. Internet courses tend to be a little harder because you don't get that direct interaction. And so what I've tried to do is almost all of the direct interactions, the type of questions the student asks me, or when I give them tips in class, hey, you need to go to this playlist, or you need to do this, or you need to do that, or look at those PowerPoints, and I tell them where they're at. I've got all that laid out for you. The deal is you just have to go dig it out, and it's not very hard. I've laid most of the stuff on the surface. I tried to make the mechanics of the course very simple and uber organized, because what I want you to do is focus on the chemistry component, not so much the mechanics of how the course works. Having said that, as with any internet class, as you probably know if this is not your first one, there are a lot of mechanics about how to move around and where the resources are and yada, yada, yada. And that yada, yada, yada is what I'm going to go over with you right quickly. Okay, so let's take these one at a time. First, the Blackboard content. There's a welcome here, and it gives you a little bit about the course, a map, really a summary of just everything we're going to cover in this course. Okay, just a flow diagram to get you oriented. No big deal. Not that anybody cares, but there's a bit about me. And by the way, the contact information, my office hours, I'll already start merging these two, the web and the Blackboard, because when you click here, it takes you to my office hours, and my office hours live on the web page. Okay, more on that later. Pardon me. Okay, back syllabus and schedule. Let me see, I'm going to have to take this off so you can see the schedule, because it doesn't open until the first day of class, and of course I'm recording this before the first day of class. So when you hit the syllabus, you can pull up and see all of the items in the syllabus. Most of this material, the schedule, the grading scheme, and the basic office hours, it's for the most part listed in other places also. But it's a requirement that it be on the syllabus, and the syllabus serves as kind of, if you will, our contract between Angelina and the instructor and the students. Okay, let's go back. See if it'll let me go back. Okay, so I'm working down the left-hand side of the Blackboard page. Announcements. I'm going to be sending out probably a lot of announcements. Here's the deal. Announcements, it's required that you look at them. They're not optional. If I put out a blurb, an announcement, and say to do something and you don't do it, it's on you. So again, announcements are not recommended. They are required. Okay. Right, course content. This is the one that has all of the meat of the subject matter. That is all of the chemistry part. And we'll talk about this in a little more detail, but it's got that, and there's a few more things that are in the course content. One is something we will use a lot in this course, which is the class sign-up sheet. So I will put your names on a sheet, and I will send you an invitation, and you will accept that, hopefully. And then it is from this sheet that we will communicate. For example, when it's time to sign up for a test, I'll have some questions here, and you will pick a date. Typically, you'll pick a time to take the exam, and then there will be some other things. So that no big deal. You'll get an invitation on that. But this is one way that we can communicate. I know you know when the test is and what time you're going to take it, and you certainly know that I know because you've posted it on this spreadsheet, and I control the spreadsheet. So, and also, so sometimes I may reply back. That's if it's grayed out, it means only I can get it. So maybe I want to say, yeah, she's gonna or he's gonna take the test using honor lock. So did you turn in your scratch paper? Yeah. And if you look on here and you see a check mark, you know that I know you submitted it because you see a check mark there. Okay, so it's a very nice organizational way that's open 24/7 for us to kind of cross-verify that everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. Right. Okay, so continuing on, let me skip down one. The General Chemistry Manual. For the first time, Angelina College is providing the lab manual for you. It's a part of the lab fee, and that lab fee is much, much less than the price of the regular book was going to be, and you have it all. So I will click this button, and you can see that you can scroll down, and there's every lab experiment on here. Okay. Meanwhile, the other thing I also want to bring up is this is in blue. So under course content is this course information. There's a bunch of stuff here. Okay, a link to this website again. See if I click this link. So I've got a whole bunch of links to this website. Just click one time and I would go ahead and make a shortcut. Course web links. There's a bunch of these links, the sign-up sheet, the YouTube page. All of these links are in other places. I just wanted to collate them in one. So there's several ways sometimes to get to where you want to get. Okay, right. So let me go back. Okay, Right, course web links. Let's see. Now, if you scroll down from course content, course information folder that we're in now, you can see the grading scheme, how the course works. Okay, a lot of writing. I know nobody likes to read all of that, so I made you a little flow diagram. So let me go over that right quick. So your course is determined 75% of the grade comes from what we do in the lecture part, and 25% comes from the lab component. So let's see. Now the lab component itself has 4 parts, and you can see those 4 parts: quizzes, assignments, final exam, and what's called a formal report. Okay, so there we go. So these 4 things roll up in those percentages to give me a lab grade, and that's 25% of this. You have 3 midterms exam. Each of those count 15%. 3 times 15 is 45%. So there's your midterm exam component. Your final exam, and this is wrong, okay? I will have to correct this. The final exam is 25 and the homework is 5, okay? So let's see. I think it's probably correct up here. 25% for the final exam and 5% for the homework. Okay. So just to let you know, that's an error. Those 2 values are juxtaposed. Right. Let's see, the textbooks information, we'll talk about that later, required technologies, and the rest of it's some general Angelina material, okay? So that's course content. Now the last thing I'll mention is I told you the course content has all of the materials for the chemistry itself. I have made shortcuts for these 4 modules, these 5 modules here, okay? I've made shortcuts here in the left-hand menu bar. And all these that say Lab A, Lab B, Lab C, I've made shortcuts to them. So in essence, what I've done here in the left-hand side is everything that relates to the lecture component is in this little section here, Module 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And everything that relates to the lab is in this next section, Lab A through Lab Z. Okay. And those are just shortcuts to what's in these folders here. So with that, let's see. Let's go to let you know about these modules. Module 0, think about the 0 as being an O, and it really has to do with just orientation material. Module 0 is just course mechanics, getting around and various requirements. So you'll need to read that. Okay. Module 1 is all of the technical material you need for exam 1. Module 2 is where all the material is found for exam 2. Module 3 is where all the material is found for exam 3. And module 4, there's not much there, but that's where any information that relates to the final exam, where it will show up, as well as the final exam itself. Okay, I should have probably, let's see. Okay, now let's talk. So that's it. Well, how about the lab component? Well, here we go. So Lab A is orientation. And this will give me a chance to just tell you how most every lab is laid out. Most every lab is going to work like this. And let me take a better represent. Let me go to Lab B, freezing point depression. Okay, so most labs are laid out this way. There's a video that you will watch of the experiment. And of course, that will correspond to, and the written material will be found in the manual I referred to earlier. Okay, so what you will then do is you will take a quiz for that material. I just want to know that they're really pretty simple quizzes. They're open book, and it just basically kind of forces you to go through the manual and to verify to me that you're familiar with where things are and essentially what they mean. The guts of it is called the assignment. After you watch a video, that is after you virtually perform the experiment in your head, then you're going to have an assignment to do. And normally that's in the form of taking data while you're watching this movie, then performing any required calculations. There's almost always some. And then there's some post-lab questions. And what you will do is, from the digital lab manual, you will complete the assignment and you will upload it, and then that's what will be graded. in almost every experiment, you're going to see the same thing in almost every experiment. Let's see. Okay. So a couple of them didn't have either videos yet. Something's up with that. I'll have to go back and get them. But most of them are going to look like this. There's going to be a video, a quiz, and an assignment. Video, quiz, assignment. There will be a couple that do not have videos because it'll be a different assignment than watching a video for those particular ones. But basically, that's what you're going to see. Video, quiz, assignment. Okay. Yes, there is a lab final exam too, and there will be any information there that you need, as well as the exam itself will be found in Lab Z. Lab Z just is the final exam since it's the last thing we do. Right. Okay. That is the overall dynamics, mechanics of the course and where the orientation material is found. And essentially you're going to go through the material and then you're going to take an orientation quiz. Okay, more on, now let's go ahead and do honor lock now. Okay, all exams will be done online using honor lock. If you cannot use honor lock, you cannot take this class. Okay, you've got to have that capability. It's not nice to know, it is required. If you cannot get full honor lock, that is with screen capture and video and voice, all of the requirements, you've got two options. Drop the class because you're going to take it using honor lock, or you must go to the testing center, and to do that you have to coordinate that with me. And the testing center is essentially got the equipment that allows you to use honor lock. So that's it. More on that in a minute. Okay, here we go. So now let's look at the Dr. Stephenson Chemistry web page. And this is really good for resources and shortcuts. So it's set up kind of with a Wikipedia feel to it. And so what you're interested in is 1412. Okay. I would like to point out that if you go to the bottom of every page, there's 4 or 5 links. But ones you will be particularly interested in are the online calculator and a general chemistry cheat sheet, and my YouTube channel. Okay. They're important enough so that they're at the bottom of every page of the web page. Talk more about the YouTube in a minute. The calculator. When you take your test online through honor lock, you must use this online calculator. Now this is basically, as a quick aside, the Desmos.com calculator is used in a lot of standardized exams. It's one of the most popular online calculators in the country and maybe of the world, I don't know. But it's a skill set that you need to know any rate. Now normally I add a few extra minutes for the internet students as opposed to the face-to-face because it's a little less clumsy. But here's my plea to you. When you work homework problems, and you will because that's about the only way to survive this class, any chemistry class, is just to work practice problem after practice problem after practice problem. It's kind of funny. Chemistry, physics, and calculus tend to be that way. When you practice, when you work those problems, you need to use this online calculator. Okay? Get used to it. Get to where it's just, you're extremely comfortable with it. And someday, by the way, when you take an online exam, that's really important. That's not the first time you want to ever use an online calculator. When you do that in the future, you may look back and thank me and say, man, I'm just so comfortable with online calculators now. It's great. You know, and so that is a soft skill that I want you to know from this class. That's the calculator. You will be allowed to pull this up on HonorLock. Okay, it is set so you can navigate away from the test to this one site. Okay, well, there's a second site it lets you go to, and that is the cheat sheet. So if you look, we have a GC General Chemistry cheat sheet. Okay, here's the deal. This is what you get to use every test. Where I would get really, really familiar with it, because if it's not on here, you either have to, it should either be in your head or it's something that's so esoteric you know that it's probably going to be included in the question information. But just to make sure it's clear, it does spell out a few things that's not on this sheet. So in other words, you need to have these things in your head for sure. Okay? So you will use this periodic chart. And there's the old formula sheets. This is almost every formula you use in General Chemistry 1 and General Chemistry 2. There are some constants here that you need. Constants, formulas. See, I give you formulas. As an aside, the reason I do that is this is not a memory class. This is a critical thinking class. So I give you the formulas. Okay, this isn't a biology or something where history where you're memorizing stuff. Science doesn't work that way for. If you can Google it, you know, if I can look it up, I don't. If you can look it up, I don't want you to have to memorize it. Look it up, okay? Well, essentially, I'm giving it to you, okay? So these are like tools. I'll let you have a picture of whatever tool looks like. What I want to know is, can you build a doghouse? Yeah. So that's it. So there's the tools. I give it to you. There's no value in me in having you memorize these. No value. It's a different world from when I took class. Okay, I had to memorize everything. Okay, because there wasn't Google and something wasn't readily available and you were always needing to know stuff and have it ready at hand. And the way you had it ready at hand was to put it in your head. That's really not the case anymore. But what's still the case is, once you look it up, you need to know what to do with it and how to use the tool. And that's kind of where we're at. So I give you all the formulas, a few other things. And so you can scroll down here, and as these topics come up, the material that I provided you so that you don't have to look it up or memorize it will become more apparent. Okay, so there we go. So the third resource, you don't get this during an exam, is the YouTube channel. Okay, real quickly about that. I've got some playlists. I'll show you in a minute some quick links to this, so don't worry about memorizing that. Okay. This looks a little jumbled because I have a lot of different materials on here, but what's of key interest to you are the yellow ones. 1412 exam 1, 1412 exam 2, and 1412 exam 3. Okay, there's not much in exam 1. Exam 3 covers one of 2 chapters only in detail. Chapter 2. Exam 2 material, and the playlist for exam 3 basically has old class lectures on all the subject matter for exam 3. This is supplemental information. It's not the key mother load of your information. Okay, so we'll go over exactly what that is here in a minute, but these are good resources. If you're a little forgetful on some of the materials that might be found in like a Gen Chem or some of the Gen Chem 1, early Gen Chem 1, or in an Intro Chem, you're going to want to pay attention to these blue ones. These are exhaustive walkthrough mini videos on every subject in Intro Chem. So if you need to review something, you can get familiar with these. And you can look back, and normally that serves as a very good review point for a lot of people. If you want to look up, I forgot how to do molarity. I forgot how to balance a chemical equation. Dig down in these 4 folders right here from 1305, which is Intro Chem, and you can usually get a pretty good review from that, so it pops back in your head. Okay. So with that, those 3 things, I just covered a lot. And what got us onto that, remember, is they're at the bottom of every page. Okay, click on 1412 here. That's your class. And this is the portal page. So here's a couple of things that you're going to want to be able to know. First of all is the schedule. So I have a link to the schedule. And there's different ways to get that. If you go straight to the Schedules tab and click on the 1412, it'll get you back to the same place. Okay. I've got this sorted two ways. So this table, let me go to the bottom when that looks, is all of your lab and all of your lecture tasks that you have to do and when they're due. So if you want to know how many things you're going to do this semester, there they are right here. Okay, let's see if I can, yellow doesn't show up too well, but there we go. That's what you're going to do. So when you do all of those and you do them well, then you're done with this class. Okay. Right. So these are sorted by component. Okay, I also have a sort, go back to the top of the page, and then sort by due date. Okay, here it's sorted by due date. So on August 26th, you'll have two things done. August 29th, one. August 30th, two. And you can see what's due and when. I have highlighted in gray background. There may be some glitches in here, but I have attempted to put the lab material in gray and the lecture material with a white background. So you've got three things to turn in, and then two things for the lab and one for the lecture, and there we go. So it's a very, very busy, fast-paced course, which I'll remark on right quick. The pace is set really by the authorities who certify the course. They define which content will do and how long you have to do it. In other words, they set the pace. So there's a lot of things that you can probably complain about me about. That's fair. But one of them is not the pace of the course. Sorry, I don't determine that. Okay? I just have to figure out a way to spread it out as much as possible and to get everything in that they require. So even though this looks very, very crunched, sorry, that's the best I could do in spacing things out. I tried to put about the same amount of time in between each of the exams and so on and so forth. But there it is. There's your schedule. Okay, so let me go back to the 1412 page. That's the schedule, the course map. Let's see. That's for the lecture component, and you saw one of these maps on the Blackboard page 2. File name checklist. I have told you that you're going to upload material. When you upload your material for each lab, you have to give it each file a name. And you will give them exactly this name, or points will be counted off. Okay, in the real world, in the STEM world, instructions can be very, very persnickety, and sometimes very slight misses can get you in trouble, especially in the world of science. So another one of the soft skills of this course is that you learn to follow instructions, detailed instructions, whether you like it or not, and whether they seem needed or not. Because I know it happens, and it took me a long time to get used to in industry doing things that just have to be done so exacting. But such is the world. Any rate, so I call this a file name checklist, and when you upload something, you will name your first one A1-nomenclature, and that's what you're going to upload. It's going to be that title exactly, and so on and so forth. Okay, right. So let me go back, and we're working our way. Okay, so that's what's specific to this course. What I really want you to show you the most is this top link right here. This is where you're going to get the information you need to make an A in this class. I'm going to show you how to make an A right quick. Look at the material and know the material that's on this page. So let me walk you down through it. There's 5 things that I have listed. Okay, the first one is just so you can find them. Links to those video playlists. There's the link to playlist 1, just so you know. There's the link to playlist 2, and there's the link to playlist 3. Okay, so that, all right.
For just $67, you can...
I'll fix that link before tomorrow. Okay, so this is supposed to be, I was cutting and pasting. Okay, so this is when you actually click this link, it's gonna be the yellow Chem 1412 exam 3, not the intro Chem exam 3. Okay, that's a reminder. Lecture notes. Sometimes people don't have a good feel for what this looks like or what would it look like in class. So what I've done is I've taken class notes from the past that I've kind of already boogered up, and kind of talked about and drawn up, and just posted them. So you could see if you were taking this class face to face, you can look through and you can see every slide that I covered one semester. So you can get a good feel for what's kind of taught in class and what the sample problems in class time look like, and a little bit about, how they were marked up. A lot of times you'll be able to see the marks on them and see what the discussion was. Okay, so those are very helpful to some people, not only to give you a good feel for how the course kind of looks live, but also just looking at the material themselves. Okay, the book we're going to use, let me go back to the book that we're going to use, textbooks, and go to the textbook manual. And so this manual is already provided, the lab manual, and we're going to use OpenStax 2nd edition. Okay, so if you go to the textbook here, and you will see that you can download this as a PDF, the OpenStax book, or you can view it online at openstax.org. This is the same textbook. A lot of people prefer it to be online because that's good digital searching, or at openstax.org, or the textbook is also on LibreText. And LibreText has a different formatting. This is the one that I typically use. So there's your textbook in 3 different free forms: PDF, OpenStax.org version, web version, LibreText version. This lab manual is a download PDF from Blackboard. Okay, having said that, now let's go back to where we were. So with those chapters that you see, if there are other instructor modules and things that they had resources, and one of the things that are provided by some people, it's for free, whoever posts them up. So Rice University posted a bunch of PowerPoint slides by chapter. So when you go over chapter 13, you can come here and download it. And for those of you who, see if I can open this up here in a second. See if this will open. Okay, so there we go. So here's the PowerPoint slides that some instructor or somebody wanted to provide for the manual. And so so you have my lecture slides and you have nice PowerPoint slides here, which you're more than welcome to use as well. And those are free of charge, of course. University of Connecticut it's not quite a complete set, but most of it. So if you want to see what it looks like from yet a second version, you can do that, and you can do those. So you can see there's a lot of resources here. So if you don't read the book, which you really should, if you don't read the book, you need to at least make sure you're thumbing through these PowerPoint slides enough so that you can work the practice problems. Okay, so there we go. Here's the point. Here's what I think is the mother lode. Here is the deal right here. If, and don't do this, but if I were only allowed one resource to use to pass the class, this would probably be it. Solutions Manual Online. Oh my gosh, I marked it with a siren. I wonder why. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to click on this. It's going to take you to the LibreText version, and these are your all the chapters that we're going to cover and more. All the chapters in the book. And I think the E usually means the either means end of chapter or exercises. So let's just go to one and let's see. We're going to cover kinetics. Okay? So let's click on kinetics. What this gives you says exercises. It gives you a question, and then it gives you the solutions. Let's see. Typically, okay, question the study rate for this. Let's see, yeah, and then there's the answers. So you can work through this, and then you can click and get the solution or the answer. This is powerful because a large part of every class is being able to work these problems. If you take a standardized exam, chemistry exam, most of it is going to be geared around questions that are of a mathematical question type. Not usually it's that much memory stuff. It's normally concepts, interpreting graphs, and being able to work through problems like these. If I only could do one thing, I would come to read that question, look at the data, and then see, could I work that? If not, go to the chapter in the book, go to the PowerPoints, see if it's on one of the videos. And there's also videos within Blackboard. Go to the Blackboard resources. You need to get it till you can work these types of problems. Okay, we're going to have some homework problems that again illustrated, but this is what you need to know. Because I guarantee you, integrated rate law, you'll have one or two questions on the test. They won't be these, but they'll be really, really like that. So if you come up here and thumb through these and you're just totally lost, then you're going to be totally lost on the exam, because this is the way that you pass most chemistry, physics, and calculus. It's just raw practice. Read the text and PowerPoints until you get the concept, and then practice working problems. Okay. Finally, there's a solution manual. That's the same thing as these end of chapter, but it's kind of more in paper or manual form. So since I forget which chapter we just did, but let's go to chapter 17. Okay, so again, there's the question, and where you had to click to get the answer or solution, it just gives it to you. Okay, so this is a paper version, if you will, kind of a PDF version of what I just showed you, except this only, for whatever reason, it only includes the odd numbers, but that's plenty. So either work these or work those. That's going to be your key to seeing if you understand the concept. Okay, so back to the 1412 page now. Textbook and lab manual, we already discussed that. Last thing I want to talk about, it's been a long video, but hey, it's we're not going to meet face to face, and this is all the information that I would give you if you were face to face. You'd have to sit and listen to all of this. So bear with me, almost done. Right, all about honor lock. So let's go talk about honor lock and about taking tests in general. So the first thing I want you to note, oh, by the way, I'm going to go back to this office hours. My office hours will be posted here. Sometime that's slightly changed. I will update that. If there any change on a day-to-day basis, something like maybe it's Monday and I'm not going to be available, let's just say until 10:30, then I would, by this little red light there, I would put a note to that. So if you don't see any note here beside that little warning light, then the regular office hours are in effect. If you need to meet me virtually, here's what you can do. Most people just prefer to email, and then we kind of escalate it from there if email doesn't work. But basically, meeting virtually is a two-step process. I've still got regular office hours. You kind of just email me. And then if it's during office hours, I'm sitting there and I check email every few minutes. All right. So if something pops in for you, I'll see if it's a quick question. I'll just respond back by email. If it's something very difficult that requires us to meet virtually, then I'll email you back, and we will either go to Google Meet or Blackboard Collaborate, and then we can exchange real time. So I give an example, but one, when you email me, that's kind of like you walking up to my office door and say, "Hey, you got a question? You got a minute?" I say, "Yeah." Maybe you ask me a real simple question at the doorway, and that's all you want. That's step one. But what if you're there at the doorway and you say, "You got a question?" You pose it to me, and it's pretty complicated. Oh, we're gonna need to sit down and talk about that. Okay. Well, that's where I would tell you, "Hey, let's go to Google Meet real time." So I try to make the virtual meeting office hours as much like regular real office hours as I can. Come to my door, see if you need something quick. If you need to come in and sit down, then we'll do that. Okay, that's office hours. Let's see. But what I want to go to now is exam info, because this is going to bum some people out, but this is nevertheless very, very important. I'm very persnickety when it comes to taking exams. I think 6 students got kicked out of class. And it will tell you in here, I've been very explicit about everything, all the way up to defining what cheating is and telling you from the manual what the price is when you get caught cheating. And I know it's remote. If you try to cheat, I'm just telling you, I will catch you. I know how to do it. I catch everyone that tries it, I'm sure. Just to touch on these bases, I know all about split monitors. I know about virtual monitors. I know about using your phone to take a question down below, pretending it's a calculator, and emailing it with someone and them emailing you back. I know the other ways too. I got it. And I know how to look for it, and I know no matter how much you think you can hide it, you can't. Because I've got tricks and things that you have no idea. When I catch you, you don't just get a 0. So if you really need this course, you don't want to cheat to the point that I go to the dean and we get this on your academic record. So just the good thing is to be honest. Just do the best you can. If you can't pass a class without cheating, drop. That's what I want to tell you to do. That's the last warning. I will catch you. And in a class this small, even classes significantly larger, I review the data from every exam. So I don't care if other instructors even know what honor lock is, how to use it. They don't know how to. They can't tell if you're Googling. They don't know how to prosecute cheating if they got it. I'm not that guy. Okay, so I don't mean to sound harsh, but I'm just sick of kicking people out of class and getting in trouble with the school. Yep. So it's a lot of work on my part, and it's not a help at all. So just don't do it. But just so you know, this is you need to be familiar with what's on here. So let me go down a couple of things that you already know, some of them. One of them is you're allowed to cheat sheet, and you're allowed to use an online calculator. Okay, so you have access to those. And by the way, read this page. If you would, as soon as you open up an exam, oh, by the way, go ahead and open up the cheat sheet, and go ahead, if I were taking it, and open up the online calculator. And that way, when I'm taking an exam, if I navigate away, I can use other tabs, and I cannot lose my way. You do not want to accidentally log yourself out of the exam. Some people don't do that, and they click around trying to find the calculator, and then they wind up clicking a button that they couldn't, and honor lock kicks them out or locks up their test. Yep. Okay. So when you open up your exam, before I do question 1, I'd go ahead and open up my calculator, and I'd open up my cheat sheet. And now I'm ready to go. I can just go back and forth between these tabs and not lose myself. Okay, so that's a tip with you. Let's see. Okay. The exam sign-up sheet, you will sign up for the exam support. That's a process. It takes, I don't know, about 5 seconds once you get there. No big deal. And a lot of this thing is don't cheat, don't cheat, don't do it, don't do it. Okay, so what are you allowed? You're allowed the web-based calculator. You can't use a handheld calculator. And you can use the cheat sheet. Let's see what else. Allowed physical resources. You can't have 2 monitors. I'm all onto that. You got to have a single working camera pointed at your lovely face. Okay, so we can see what's going on. You must have a working microphone. Okay, and a single computer with a single monitor. Okay, camera's got to work. Microphone's got to work. Okay, you are allowed scratch paper and a pencil or pen. You are. So what's going to happen is, and then this will be detailed, but what will happen is you have within 15 minutes after the exam to take a picture of your scratch paper and email it to me. And that's what you might have seen on the sign-up sheet. On the sign-up sheet, if I can find it for our class. Yeah, okay. So on the sign-up sheet, that says, it'll say exam, do you have a scratch paper? Once I get your scratch paper within 15 minutes, I will put a check and you're done with that. Okay. If you don't, if you wind up with one of these, as you see, you will probably get at least 25 to 40 points off and most likely a 0. That is a part of the test. I want your scratch paper. Okay. So there we go. Let's see. But you are allowed to use it. Let's see what else I want to tell you. You're going to read all this, of course. It just tells you can't have a second. This is all the stuff that you can't do, which you probably already know. You can't communicate with other people. Can't do hand signals, smoke signals, any of that stuff. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Software. HonorLock. If you haven't done HonorLock before, it requires Chrome browser. So there's your links. How to get a Chrome browser if you don't have it, and then how to activate and how to add and activate the HonorLock add-in. Okay, HonorLock only works with Chrome. Let's see what else we got. Okay, this is where I told you just go ahead and open those tabs up. If anything goes wrong during an HonorLock exam, you need to contact, before you log out or move away, go to their support link. They have little bubbles and things on the page during the exam. Most of the time, HonorLock can troubleshoot it. Pardon me. They can troubleshoot your exam and get it back on track if there's a glitch. Okay. And again, over and over, it's what you can do, what you can't do. Okay, right. If you need to make a testing center, here's kind of how you do that. But let me know. The key is you need to make a reservation with the testing center, and then you need to let me know, because you don't have that option unless I approve it. Got it? So I need to know that that's happening. It's a lot of work, just so you know, to move a test up to the testing center. They don't just have all of the information they need. They don't have anything. So if you need to take it to the testing center, I have to know in advance of the test, well in advance, preferably a couple of days, so I can set the test up for you. You'll make a reservation, but once you need to make the reservation, you need to make sure there's a room available for you. And so you're going to make a reservation, and then you're going to tell me, hey, I'm going to stay there, and then I'm the one that sets the test up. I'm the one that makes sure there's a room there for you, for your reservation. Okay. What else? Scratch paper requirement. There it is right there. And then don't cheat thing. Okay. Okay. And you might want to read that very last section again. Right. That's all about it. The last thing is to install HonorLock. All about HonorLock. This is just about HonorLock itself. There's some resources available. It's pretty straightforward. I don't think anybody much ever has a problem with this. But here's all of the stuff on how to get that done on your computer. Okay. I think I'm done. I think I'm almost done with you. Let's see. So what you want to do is just go to module 1. Well, what I would bookmark is, I would bookmark my schedule. Yep. Let me see. I want to go over here to schedules right fast. And I would do the 1412 schedule. And I'd be bookmarking that rascal. And so right now, the first thing I would do if I were you is I would look and say, okay, the first thing that's up to bat is it looks like I've got some online homework for chapter 20 to do. Oh my gosh, that's due as early as next Monday. And I've got 2 quiz things to do by this Friday. Okay, there we go. And then let me see the lab stuff. I've got some lab stuff due August 30th, so I better get cracking with Lab A assignment, and Chapter 20. And you're off to the races. Okay. By the way, this quiz 2 is really, really simple. It's just a mock honor lock exam, and it makes you go through the honor lock process, and you answer 4 goofy questions. I don't know what's your name, and it's the sky blue or something like that. So, but what it is, you have to go through the honor lock gate. And so what that is practice knowing that you can get through all of the initial room scans and ID scans and all of that, and that you can actually get into an exam. Okay, so when you take exam 1, that's not the time. You're going to be all stressed out anyway. That's not the time to figure out, oh, I don't even know how to get on the honor lock. No, you will have already done that with this quiz 2. Okay, so with that, I guess that's plenty to get you started. And so go ahead and begin working through the orientation material. I would go to right, so the start here, and let's see if it's got you doing some stuff here or not. Oh, there is something else I wanted to point out. This, I never worked down through here. Let me see, collaborate. If we have to meet virtually, I probably won't use Collaborate. I have a Google Meet site set up, and I normally prefer to do that. But these top 3 sections here are standard Angelina affairs, so it's there nevertheless. Discussion board, I may post some discussion board questions, and maybe just have everybody at least introduce themselves. We will have a single group project throughout the semester. Yeah, we're going to have a group project. Right, so I will choose one lab or something. You have to write a lab report. That's going to be it. I will put your names in a group, okay, and then that will show up here. Okay, here's what I really wanted to show you. I'm thinking, let's see, I'm going to have to exit preview. Although I would have thought the calendar would already be working. Let's see. Okay, so what this is going to look like in your world. Okay, so 2022, 1412. Okay, so this is your class. Okay, so what should happen on your calendar is you won't see these other ones. These are from my other classes. So when an assignment is actually posted, when it goes into Blackboard and I actually put the on switch on, it shows up here. So in addition to that calendar, you have this calendar, which will tell you when something is due. So you can see that these dates should correspond to those on the paper calendar. Okay, there's hundreds and thousands of moving parts with all of my classes. So, perchance the date on the calendar for, let's say, Chapter 10 homework was different from the date on here. Just email me. Okay, because there's going to be little glitches all along throughout the semester. So your STEM majors, your second semester, you're headed professional career, you're smart enough to know that. Hey, there's a glitch here, there's a glitch here. It's not, oh, let's just see if we can get it, or I can use it as an excuse to be later. Just don't. Just go ahead and practice being a professional. Hey, I'm seeing the same thing, but I'm getting 2 different messages. I'll email him and see which one's right. That's how we're going to handle it. But I think they should be, for the most part, right. Okay, let's see. So that's the first few how can I scroll a page? Let's go to September and see what happens. Okay, so you can just in a glance see what's due in September. Okay, and let's see, there's, okay, so there's nothing there in October, but there's a lot on your schedule. Here's why. I'm not posting stuff too far ahead. I think I've posted everything up to about, exam 1, okay? So what'll happen is when as the semester moves forward and I know things are on track, then I will go ahead and begin populating, putting due dates on the action assignments for 1412, and that's when they show up here. So there's nothing in October because I haven't gone in and assigned it a due date and put a check mark that says, yep, make this thing live. Okay, hope that helps. So yes, you may see a lot of stuff on the calendar on the Blackboard site, yep, on the calendar, that's not yet showing up on your Blackboard calendar because this calendar is live. Okay. Right. And just so you know, a little inside ball here, what brings this up here is when I set something up, there's this thing called due date. If I put a due date in there and put a check mark that says use that, that's what makes it show up here. Okay, so that's good. So let's see if there's anything else. Of course, my grades, your grades are going to show up there. Student resources. This is not bad. This is something that Angelina College puts on here. I've added a couple of things, but there's a lot of good things. Links to the bookstore, link to the library, a link to the student tutoring. Take advantage of that if they have a chemistry tutor. I do not know yet for fall of 22 if they have it. IT help desk, net tutor, really important. If you do need to drop a class, you can always email me, but I will probably just refer you to what is called the student resources. Okay, and so by student resources, this isn't chemistry resources. This is AC course mechanics stuff. Okay, Blackboard help and course messages, and okay, all right, so never mind on that's just where we can send messages back and forth. I use this announcements. Right, so we've already said everything. That's your lecture and that's your lab material, and with that, I think this time I'm in earnest. We're done with this. So at any rate, again, I hope this helps get you oriented and out of the block really, really fast. A lot of rambling here, but hey, there's just a lot of mechanics, and I just wanted to spam it and get it all to you at one time. Feel free to email me, contact me. If you're around the facility there during my office hours, or even not, feel free to stop by my office. Love to meet you face to face. And you know, you're welcome to live tutoring hours. Walk in as much as anyone else. Oh, by the way. So with that, I will tell you goodbye for now, and we'll talk again later. Bye now.